Welcome to Hurry Up Pinball, a show where I teach you how to work on your pinball machine. Today I will show you how to install the PinWoofer GT JJP Super Kit. So grab your tools and let's get going. The PinWoofer kit will contain several items for the installation, and each box is clearly marked for easy reference. The kit includes the PinWoofer GT amplifier, a 3D printed amp mounting bracket, a wiring harness, an expander board with connectors, a power board and some speaker connectors, an 8-inch speaker and mounting ring, hardware, and some Playfield glass anti-rattle tape. For detailed installation instructions, go to pinwoofer.com, create an account, select Downloads, and then pick your machine. To begin, open the coin door, remove the lockdown bar, close the coin door, and remove the Playfield glass. You may need to move the pinball machine so you have access to the sides of the cabinet and the back box. Before beginning any work, unplug the pinball machine. Now grab the back box keys and remove the trans light to gain access to the back box. If you have cabinet protectors, install them at this time and then partially raise the playfield. Now grab the PinWoofer wiring harness and, starting with the red and white RCA cables, feed the harness into the hole in the bottom right corner of the back box. I would recommend leaving about 3 feet of the wiring harness out for back box connections. Place a small towel or blanket on the back box and then fully raise the playfield. Now open the coin door and feed the wiring harness cables out of the coin door opening. You will want to run the wiring harness down the right side of the pinball cabinet. If you purchased a 3D printed amp mounting bracket, now is the time to install it. You can mount it with the included screws or with the supplied Velcro strips. PinWoofer cautions against mounting the amp to the side of the cabinet. The location seen here provides easy access to the amp for adjustments. Before mounting the housing, place the amp in the mount and confirm you have enough space on both sides of the amp prior to mounting the housing. After deciding on a location, mount the amp housing. I chose to use the Velcro strips as I didn't want to drill into the bottom of the cabinet. If you use the Velcro strips, make sure to remove the amp prior to transporting the pinball machine. Now lower the playfield at this time and rest it on the end of the support brackets. Willy Wonka has a movable mount for the monitor, and it is held in place by magnets. Move the monitor to the side to allow access to the boards in the back box. If your pin has an LED strip mounted to the board cover in the back box, undo the Molex connector for the LED strip. This will allow you to completely remove the cover. Now grab your hex driver and remove the 4 screws holding on the cover. Make sure to place the screws in a safe location. Now grab the PinWoofer power board and connect the 2-pin connector from the wiring harness to the power board. This will supply power to the amplifier. Now take the power board and install it on connector J110. If you currently have a connector on J110, remove it, plug it into the power board, and then install the power board on J110. The connectors are keyed, so be sure to install them in the proper orientation. If you had a connector on J110 prior to installing the power board, you would connect it here. Make sure to route the 2-pin connector properly so it does not put pressure on the power board. Now take the green ground wire from the recently installed power board and install it on the screw at the bottom left of the back box board. Here's what it should look like once properly connected. Now it is time to move on to the soundboard. Here you can see the 3 connectors we need to unplug. Squeeze the connectors on the sides and remove the 3 connectors from the soundboard. Now grab the expander board and the wires from the PinWoofer kit. Now connect the 2 ends of the Y connector to the soundboard. The white wire group should connect to J105 and the green wire group should connect to J106. Grab the red wire connector and connect it to J104. Here's what it should look like when properly installed. Now grab the expander board and mount the included piece of double-sided sticky tape to the back of the expander board. Remove the adhesive backing and mount the expander board in the open space to the left of the soundboard. Make sure to mount the board with a 3.5mm jack facing down as shown here. Now route the wires you just installed on the soundboard over to the expander board and plug in the connectors. Here's what it should look like with the wires connected to the expander board. Now route the 3.5mm cable from the main wiring harness underneath the bundle of cables and connect it to the 3.5mm jack on the expander board. Make sure you leave a little slack in the wire to avoid putting pressure on the expander board. Using the included zip ties, clean up the cables in the box. The wires will feed out the hole in the bottom center of the metal box. Make sure to leave a little slack in case you need to adjust something in the future. Next, route the PinWoofer wiring harness cables through the existing wire looms, again making sure to leave some slack. Now go back and clip any excess off the zip ties at this time. Now it is time to connect the wiring harness to the speaker cables. Start with the wiring harness cable labeled right and plug it into the red and white / black cable for the backbox speakers. Then connect the other blue and black cable from the wiring harness to the gray and white / black cable for the other backbox speakers. Now connect the red and black cables marked sub to the red and black cables in the backbox. Here is what it should look like when properly installed. It is a good idea to double check that the wires won't get pinched when reinstalling the metal cover. Now reinstall the metal cover and install the 4 screws that hold on the cover. Don't forget to reconnect the LED strip from the back box cover to the pinball machine. Next, grab the speaker wires from the PinWoofer harness and route them through the wire loom, again being sure to leave a little slack in the wires. With all the connections in the back box in place, move the monitor back into position. Now it is time to install the new cabinet speaker. Go ahead and fully raise the playfield at this time. Since we will be replacing the speaker but using the existing wires, use a pair of wire cutters and clip the red and black wire leading to the cabinet speaker. I would do this about ½ an inch from where the wires are soldered. Now grab your hex driver and remove the 4 screws holding on the speaker. With the screws removed, go ahead and remove the stock speaker and the square wood insert. PinWoofer also recommends removing the metal speaker grill as it will rattle with the new speaker in place. Now grab the speaker adapter from the PinWoofer kit and reinstall the 4 screws that hold the adapter in place. Now grab the hardware from the PinWoofer kit and place 1 washer on each metal post. Now grab the new speaker and install it with the positive and negative terminals facing the back right side of the pinball cabinet. Make sure to carefully line up the holes in the speaker so you don't accidentally puncture the new speaker. With the speaker in place, place 1 washer on each post along with 1 lock nut, then tighten down all 4 lock nuts. Grab a pair of wire strippers at this time and strip about 1/4 of an inch of insulation off of the red and black speaker wires. I needed a little extra slack, so I removed the red and black wires from one of the wire looms. After removing the insulation from the wire, grab the bag of terminal connectors included with the kit and install one on each wire. Use a pair of crimpers or a pair of pliers to crimp the connectors to the red and black wire. Now connect the red wire to the positive terminal and the black wire to the negative terminal. You may need to bend the speaker terminals out slightly in order to slide on the connectors. It is a good idea to gently hold the speaker terminals while installing the connectors. With the new speaker connected, place the PinWoofer amp in the housing at this time and connect the Molex connector and the power cable to the amp, and then plug in the red and white RCA cables with the red plug on the right and the white plug on the left. Now that everything is connected, completely lower the playfield. Next, we will install the Playfield glass anti-rattle tape. Prior to installing the tape, Clean the playfield glass with your cleaner of choice. PinWoofer recommends installing one piece of the tape and test fitting the glass in the machine. If it moves freely, you can add a second piece of tape to the glass on the other side. If the fit is snug with one piece of tape, you do not need to add a piece of tape on the second side, as it is possible to seize the glass in the channel. When installing the tape, make sure it is up against the edge of the playfield glass. With the anti-rattle tape installed, remove the cabinet protectors if you use them. Close the coin door and reinstall the playfield glass and lockdown bar. Go ahead and remove the amp from the housing and place it on the playfield glass at this time. The amp has rubber feet on it, so it should not scratch the playfield glass. Go ahead and reinstall the translight at this time and place the back box keys on the hook inside the coin door. Before turning on the pinball machine, I would recommend placing all the knobs in the 12 o'clock position except the gain knob. I recommend placing the gain knob in the 2 to 3 o'clock position. Go ahead and plug in the pinball machine at this time. Before turning on the pinball machine, pull out the white pin on the inside of the coin door so the machine will boot properly with the coin door open. Then go ahead and turn on the pinball machine. Dialing in the amp is just as important as the installation process, and do not skip this step. Be sure to check out my tutorial on how to dial in the PinWoofer GT amp and make sure you understand how the auto mute function works, as indicated by the red light on the amp. This video is available on the HurryUpPinball YouTube page and via the PinWoofer website at pinwoofer.com. You can also check out the PinWoofer blog for suggested amp settings for various machines. For Wonka, I found that a volume of 25 on the coin door and a gain in the 2 to 3 o'clock position was a good starting point for dialing in the amp settings. Once you have found an amp setting that you like, place the amp back in the mounting bracket, close the coin door, and push the pinball machine back into position. Go ahead and play some test games at this time, and be sure to upload your favorite settings to the PinWoofer blog for others to see. This is Craig with Hurry Up Pinball, and I wanted to say thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, show your support for Hurry Up Pinball and click the subscribe button. We can also be found on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram under Hurry Up Pinball.